One Perfect Morning by Pamela Crane, narrated by Sarah Borges because I listened to this as an audiobook, and it's set in and around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania mainly, and it's published by Avon. And I would say that Pamela Crane is the American equivalent of our Joanna Trollope, who is the queen of the Aga Saga. Now, what is an Aga Saga? Basically, an Aga is a cooking unit that can often heat a house as well, and it's sort of, has a really kind of old, solid look about it, almost an antique look, but it is hugely popular in the UK. And people gather around it with cups of tea, warm up their hands, which you need to do in this country sometimes, and just generally chew the cud around somewhere that is really warm and a focus in a room. This novel certainly had me gripped. I listened to it as an audiobook, and I would often go for a 5-mile walk because we're still in, not lockdown, but we're in COVID times. And I would pop my earbuds in and I would go off and I would listen for a really good hour. And as the characters evolved and the plot unfolded, I thought the author laid it all out really neatly, comprehensively, and I really enjoyed it. So it is the story of Mackenzie, Lily and Robin, and they are 3 mates who got together at college, and so now that was about 20 years ago, so they must be in their 40s. Mackenzie and Robin both have families. Lily is just kind of getting to grips with a potential divorce. Anyway, she's separated from her partner. The novel opens with quite a bang. So one of the women who's lying on her bed looking at her husband, quite fondly has to be said, and then she's got a knife, and we know that she actually goes and sticks that knife in her husband's throat. So it's a really stunning opener, which you seldom get in books. It kind of really grips you from the get-go. And what she also introduces as the story progresses are facets that would affect this kind of age group of women. So they must be in their 40s, I think. So there is substance misuse, there is adultery, and there is also domestic violence. And that she handles really well because she kind of drops it in. And as the story goes on, the coercive control gets worse and worse, and she observes that really well. There is a pivotal event between 2 children from different families, and that in itself doesn't trigger events to unfold, but it kind of heralds a change in the dynamics, and there are plenty of secrets to be revealed, and I think this is what the author does really nicely. There are twists and turns and surprises along the way, and certainly when we got to the end, I felt I'd had a very satisfying and good read. So I think this is certainly one to pick up if you want to be gripped and immersed, and certainly as an audiobook. I plugged it in, went off and came back, and the time just flew by, which is always a sign of a good book.